All right, guys, so here we are. Yummy is a very simple Yu-Gi-Oh deck, guys. The level 1 guys, the base ones, all have an effect that if you control a Link 1 monster, you get to special summon themselves to the side of the field. So they're starters and extenders. Then when they are normal summoned or special summoned, you get to perform an action. Like Cupsy Yummy gets a Yummy card from your deck to your hand, or if it's summoned through a Synchro monster effect, you get to draw a card instead. Cookie allows you to make a monster lose 1,000 attack, but if it's summoned through a Synchro monster, you get to destroy a monster instead. And Lolly allows you to be able to shuffle a card in your opponent's graveyard, but if it's summoned through a Synchro monster, you get to banish instead. Remember, this is the summon draw, this is the attack reduction destruction, this is the shuffle banish, okay? That's what makes these cards so good, is because they have multiple effects that reward you for summoning them off of other effects. Really important to understand that, right? The fourth card is not like the others, but it's very similar. Marshmallow Yummy says if you control no monsters or all monsters are light beasts, you get to summon this card from your hand. Then if it's summoned, you get to add a Yummy spell or trap card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's special summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster, you can place one Yummy field spell or continuous spell or trap card from your deck or banishment instead. So this card actually does allow you to cycle back in your field spell when it's very important, because the old way of beating this deck was that you would just banish Mignon and there was no way for them to like get this card back, and most builds only played one, which means that the Yummy monsters are just really weak. But talk about that a little later. The Yummy field spells. These cards are really important to the deck. Really just Mignon. Your Yummy monsters gain 500 attack for each light beast monster on the field, so it does stack. And then if you control a Link 1 monster, you can target one level 1 Yummy monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This gives the deck a really simple 1-card combo that allows it to be able to get into more Yummy cards and flood the board with Yummies, right? And then if it's in the graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and in your banishment, or in your banishment, place them to the bottom of the deck in any order. So the thing about this deck is that also you get a lot of recoverability. You don't have to play a lot. A lot of builds will play 3 copies of Cupsy, 2 copies of Yummy, 2 copies of Lollipo. Some play will play 3, 1, 1, because it's just so easy to recover these cards. So if you're running pure variants, the only thing that seems to be mandatory is 3 copies of Cupsy. The other ones, and Marshmallow is also a 1 to 3 of, depending on what version of the deck you're playing and what exactly are you looking for, because the deck is so easy to recover and get cards. A Croaky is a card that typically only played in pure. It says if you Synchro summon a light beast monster, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. Then if a face-up card leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon Yummy monster from your deck. If it's in your graveyard, it has the exact same effect. You can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard or banishment and return them to the deck. Yummy locks, we'll talk about that in a second, but Yummy does not have any locks. Next is Yummy Surprise. This card's really good. This is one of the best cards in the deck. It allows you to target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and return them to the hand. That's pretty good, seeing that these guys can kind of summon themselves right back. Or since it's a quick play, it's good for disruption. It also allows you to be able to special summon a Yummy monster from your hand or graveyard this turn. Now here's the kicker. Normally when you have a card effect that says you can activate one of these effects, and you can only activate that spell card for one of those effects. This card lets you get both effects. You can activate Yummy Surprise for the summon, and in the same turn, you can activate Yummy Surprise for the bounce. So pay attention to that, chat. You will get cooked. It's kind of ridiculous how these cards are, right? You normally play 1 surprise because it's easy to recover. Some people play 2. I don't really see a lot of people play 3. The field spell, you only play 1 Mignon and 1 to 0 a Croaky. This is 1 to 3, 0 to 3, or 0. I don't think see anybody play 3, but I'll say 0 to 3. 0 to 3 and 3 most definitely. As you guys can see, there's a very slender engine, meaning that you can play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in your main deck and actually make this a really good engine, because the main thing about this deck is that it allows you to Synchro summon using Link 1 monsters. Stupid. We'll talk about that in a second. Lastly is Yum Yum Yummies. I have never seen a Yummy player play this. But I will go back to when I said that the yugioh card was trash. I forgot the yugioh circle card. And somebody got in the comment section and said that I was wrong. I'm just a meta sheep and I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll go over Yum Yum Yummies because of that. Each time 2 or more yummy monsters are special summoned, you gain 500 life points and your opponent loses 500. You can only use the following effects once per turn. You can pay 500 life points, target 2 face-up monsters, including Yummy Snatchy. It has to be Yummy Snatchy. Send both to the graveyard. Special summon Yummy Synchro monster from your extra deck. If your opponent activated a card or effect, you can pay 100 life points, immediately link summon 1 Yummy Link monster. This card doesn't seem bad, but I still wouldn't play it. It seems better than that yugioh card that I was talking about, but I still wouldn't play it. It's unnecessary. It's a card that only works when you have the game going, which means if you have the game going, then you're already winning. Now, the big thing about Yummy is that, like I said before, this deck plays no tuners. Kind of dumb, right? None of these monsters are tuners, but it's a synchro deck. Callie, how do you synchro summon? Well, the Yummy monsters, for this card synchro summon, you can treat a Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. Meaning that cards like Solomon Great All Mirage, Gravity Controller, Link Spider, Link Karibo, all of them are level 1 tuners in this deck. They are all tuners, and saying that Link 1 monsters are some of the most busted cards in the game and should have never existed, it makes this deck inherently broken just off of how easy it is to summon Link 1 monsters and how accessible the Yummy cards are themselves. Let's go over what they say, right? So the Yummy monsters, Link Spider has a normal monster. Oh, Darth Derek, let me show you this one card that gives me a normal monster that just so happens to allow me to summon a Link 1 and continue to play. When you do this to a good Yummy player, they still continue to play because they played Link Spider and you gave them a Link 1. But I digress. Yummy Synchro monsters have 2 effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can return this card to the extra deck to special summon any 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So anytime you decide to activate an interaction, they get 2 more monsters, which can make more synchro summons and more plays. Let's go over what they do. All right. Cookie Yummy Way allows you to be able to Book of Moon 2 monsters. It's actually pretty strong, right? Cupsy Yummy Way allows you to be able to add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard a card, right? Lollipo Yummy Way allows you to be able to special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard, but negate their effects. These cards give you infinite advantage and are typically played as one-ofs in every Yummy deck, simply because of how easy they are to recycle back into your deck. Now, keep in mind, some of you guys may argue that you should play multiple copies of this card simply because what if they go Kashtira Unicorn and stuff like that? In the TCG, Kashtira Unicorn and Kashtira Finra are at 3, and players still play them. So do with that information what you will. The main card that brings this deck together is Yummy Snatchy. It requires 1 level 4 or lower light beast monster. If it's special summon, it gets you the filled spell card to your fill. So you normally go normal summon a Yummy Cupsy, turn it into a Snatchy. Snatchy gets your Mingyong. Mingyong summon back your Cupsy. You then link into your Yummy Way. Yummy Way adds you 2 more, and you're off to the races. That's pretty much how you go. And of course, this got you the surprise. So again, very insulated combo. But this card isn't done, right? You can't summon Link 3 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn. Not really a problem. During the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 100 life points to synchro summon using monsters you control, including a Yummy monster. I want to point out that these monsters are not tuners, but these monsters are. I have no idea who decided to make these tuners, but here we are, guys. They are tuners. So what exactly are some perfect cards to play in this deck? Well, Solomon Great All Mirage turns any hand trap into a level 1 tuner. So a hand trap plus any of these guys is also full combo. Gravity Controller allows you to be able to turn Herald into full Mitsurugi combo. Do with that information what you will. You won't be... I personally think you won't be dealing with pure Yummy. There's no reason not to, seeing that this card is still available, right? Sky Striker Mecha Hornet drones allows you to be able to special summon a Sky Striker Ace token. And in case you guys don't remember, Hornet Drones into Gagari to get back to Hornet Drones, and now you have a tuner and a level 1 non-tuner to synchro summon into Yummy Way to get all the cards. If you ask me, ban Yummy Way. But hey, that's just gonna be in my perfect ban list idea. It can be played in multiple different ways, but the most popular way of Yummy is going to be Pure and Yummy Mitsurugi. Now, again, I don't expect to see a lot of Pure Yummy, and it's simply because why play Pure when you can play Mitsurugi? I'm not saying that Pure can't be successful. It's actually crazy strong too, but Mitsurugi gives you a whole nother line because Yummy has a couple of weaknesses, and allow me to explain. If you can summon monsters like Dino Wrestler Pankratops, you do a good job because it's a monster that doesn't activate itself to summon. It can force Snatchy's effect and stop Snatchy's effect at the same time, right? And it can attack over all Yummy monsters. So cards like that work. Ironically, when they don't have Herald of Arclight up, the deck gets hard pressed by Dark Hole, the pure version, right? Dark Hole, Raigeki, board wipes and stuff like that. Because keep in mind, even if they do go Cupsy or Cupsy Yummy Way, any of the Yummy Way monsters to summon back too, Dark Hole resolves and then destroys all their monsters. So it does get hard countered by some very interesting cards. If they play a little aggressively, Nib cooks them. There's so many cards that really put them in a body bag if you play Pure, but Pure is still a really, really good version. What you do get in return is that you get to play cards like Dominus Impulse and you get to play more hand traps. So there is a good trade-off, right? Let me show you a build. So it'll be something like this. This would be close to a Pure Yummy deck if you guys wanted to know exactly what it would look like in Master Duel. You can play all three, which gives you the best chance inside of a Pure deck. That's why I said anywhere between 3 of these and then 1 to 3 of these, right? And this is very consistent, very strong. A couple of synchros I want you guys to pay attention to is Martial Metal Marcher. This card allows you to be able to special summon tuner monsters back to your side of the field. Starham. This card brings out more monsters. And then there's Sorrow Cat. This card is really, 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 really important for the combo, right? Now, if you wanted to see a Mitsurugi version of the deck, here we have it. This is a Mitsurugi version. The only thing we care about is the Cupsy, the Yummy, Marshmallow. Like you guys can see 1, 1, 3, 3. And then it's Mitsurugi. So the reason why this version of the deck works so much, it's simply because if you put all your resources to stopping Cupsy Yummy or the Cupsy, the Yummy line, then you just activate Habakiri, right? And if you do all of your work to stop the Habakiri cards or the Mitsurugi cards, you just summon out Cupsy. And then if you don't stop both, you got to deal with a board like Herald of Arclight, Yummy cards, and you also have to deal with cards like Mitsurugi Gate Purification, Yummy Surprise, and Habakiri blowing up your board. It is literally the best of both worlds. I think that this will be a little bit stronger than the other version. Granted, I think the only thing that may make it weaker a little bit is Maxi. Maxi does have altering effects. So while I do think that this deck is really, really powerful, it being immediately tier 1 may not be a thing because of cards like Maxi. Those are hard to be tested. Though I do think it'll still do really well. I think it'll be one of the best decks, not immediately the best deck maybe. It really depends on how we start to see it going. And also keep in mind, this is a best of 1, but this deck is unfair in one turn game. So the only thing that I need is Marshmallow Yummy and a card in my hand, chat. That's all. That is all. Activate the effect of Marshmallow Yummy, summon it. Then we will link it off, go into Yummy Snatchy. We'll add Mingyong to hand. We'll activate Mingyong. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not adding Mingyong. This card sets the Mingyong, places the Mingyong, so we're not activating it. If you control a link 1 monster, you can target 1 Yummy monster and you give it a special summon. Send it to graveyard, send it to graveyard. So we'll put that. Add 2 cards from our deck to our hand, guys. I don't think it matters. And then we discard a card. I could be wrong on getting the lollipop. We then special summon, use that effect, add surprise, Special summon. Synchro summon. We make Sour Cat. And then activate the effect of Herald of Arc. It gets any ritual monster to your hand. You have to look, so you have to Ash the Cupsy Yummy way if you see me lead with a card like that, right? If you see me special summon Marshmallow and start going into my line, you have to Ash the Cupsy. But if I have like any other cards in my hand that allows me to advance my game state, you're cooked. If I start off with Habakiri and you Ash the Habakiri, or you Ash the Saji, you're doing a good job. But if I go special summon Marshmallow or normal summon Cupsy, then you're cooked. You know what I mean? And on top of that, keep in mind, I put this guy in the graveyard, right? If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one of the Synchro monsters in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you use special summon this card, and it gets to Synchro summon, this goes back to extra. This gets summoned. This is after full combo, right? I'll activate this, summon this. Oh, this effect activates. This gets back into my hand. You're dealing with a Herald. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think that this deck is. I hate that it can be mixed so well. Like, he's gonna go full Mitsurugi combo plus Yummy combo and have Yummy again, because then this is gonna do this on top of combo. We're gonna summon, which means this is gonna eventually summon and summon. Then we're gonna get these effects, and then I can Synchro again. So I think that this is one of those decks where Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely should have had more restrictions. But fortunately, there are some ways to beat it. Like you guys said, Dark Ruler No More is a good way. Non-interactive spell and trap cards are also really good. Maxi will be pretty good against this deck, unfortunately, but it is what it is. The Mole Charmy cards are pretty good against this deck. You know, you'll get enough interactions. And also, here's another thing, chat. Don't try to stop both sides. If you don't try to stop both sides, you're perfectly fine. If you commit to just stopping the Yummy cards, and you stay on just stopping the Yummy cards, or you build your deck to only be like, hey, this will deal with Mitsurugi, you know what I mean? Then just commit to stopping one side of the deck, and you're golden, to be honest. Sometimes this deck does brick. It's not often, but it does brick, and when it does brick, it's the worst. So I think the only thing that makes this deck like not weak to cards like Evenly Matched and Dark Ruler so well is because of Purification. So that's why it's like Evenly is good, but then they have Purification. So stuff like that happens. That's pretty much it, guys. Let me know in the comment section everything else that people need to know. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say.